gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. I am the Ignored Nerd, and this is my weekly roundup of this week I've been mostly playing. So the games that I chose last week were Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Pathologic 2, Goat Simulator and Gato Roboto. I'm really disappointed in my choice of games. Senua's Sacrifice is an amazing game. It is very, very beautiful to play. However, things like I didn't gel with Pathologic. As you can see, I've only unlocked one achievement. Gato Roboto was not strictly an easy game. Again, I've only managed 6 achievements on that, and then Goat Simulator as well. What I actually have done though is I've been playing some of the gamepass for PC. So as you can see as well, as we scroll down the list, I've managed to 1000G the Lego Indiana Jones. I've also managed to get 1000G on the on Surviving Mars for PC, and most of the achievements for Endless Legend on PC as well. I also played Don't Starve Giant Edition and managed to get the 1000G on that as well. Now I appreciate those weren't the games that I had originally chosen. It's just that the games I'd chosen weren't really that great, apart from Senua's Sacrifice. Senua's Sacrifice has one missable achievement, the rest are all done via story, and I didn't want to ruin it by just going for the missable one. So let's roll some gameplay footage and get on with this week's announcements. So this week, to address the game in the game in question that you're watching here, this is me playing Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is an amazing farming sim game in the ilk of Harvest Moon. A great game. You start off as a new farmer and you go around and effectively you build up the levels of your farm. This is me just going in and out. You'll see a bit of a little arcade footage that's on there as well. If you have not played this game, I highly recommend that you play it. It's available for multiple systems. I own it on the Xbox, I also own it on the Switch. I aim to possibly at some point maybe get it for the PS4. I'm not 100% sure, because I really wouldn't play it on PS4. It would be mainly on my Xbox that I would play it Switch for when I'm away travelling. So without further ado then, let's get into this month's games. Now this month's games aren't actually Game Pass games. They're games that I own in my collection that I've not actually played yet. So I thought, well, you know what, let's get some of these games played. So the first game up is a game called Storm Boy. Now Storm Boy is an adventure game. I believe it's based on a book. I'm not entirely sure who the book was by. Colin somebody, maybe. Again, I'm not 100% sure. It's not a game that I played. I think I picked it up at a couple of £2. You know, it looks very much like an interactive story adventure game. I'm looking forward to playing it. You kind of do various different things. I think there's bits of stuff that you can do in, you know, swimming, and it's interactive storytelling, and it's supposed to be a young children's game, so I'm not entirely sure how that will play out. Next up is a game that I bought during the Halloween sale that they had, and it was SOMA. SOMA is a survival horror game. It was released in 2015, published by Frictional Games. It's played from the first person. You sort of go up against a number of creatures which embody an aspect of the game. It utilises, it's mainly psychological horror rather than conventional jump scares. It looks like an interesting game. I should have really played this during the Halloween period, but I never got round to it. I'm led to believe it is very atmospheric, and looks like a decent game, so hopefully I don't make the mistake that I did with the last month's choices of games, and these are actually decent games to play. So next up we have the game Jack and Jill DX. It's you've got to I believe it's sort of puzzly type game. You overcome a load of hazards to try and reach your, I assume she's your partner or your wife, Jill. It's I'm led to believe now reading about it. It is a one-button shooter, one-button platformer. Sorry, old school one-button platformer. Fair enough. It I like the art style of it. The the black and white and the sort of Mario style imagery on the back end. It's 7 worlds made up of 20 levels, 7 in-game mini games. You get tickets for the in-game store. The in-game store unlocks hats and screen colours. It just looked like an interesting platform game. I bought it a while back and just never got round to it. So yeah. Next up, we have a game called Cubot. I believe it's a story game. Story game, a puzzle game. It's sort of minimalist. You move coloured cubes towards tiles of the same colour. It's supposed to be really easy, but I'm gonna guess that it will eventually become pretty torturous as the levels go on. Never really been massive into puzzle games on the Xbox, but I got this again when it was cheap. I think you're gonna have sort of multiple cubes that you have to move all at once in a particular pattern to get them into a level. It's still a cheap puzzle game. I think it's about £1.50 or something like that on the store. I just decided that given that I've not played it, I thought it'd be good to get it on. So next up, the last game for this month is a first-person exploration game called Gone Home. Gone Home, essentially, you take the role of a young girl in a first-person view and you move around a house and interact with objects. Apparently, the game has no defined outcomes or defined goals, but it encourages you to explore new areas and search for new messages, and it's all about interacting with the objects and the notes in the house in order to progress the game. So yeah, it looked like an interesting game, so I just decided I would pick it up. Again, it was dirt cheap, so I'll get on and I'll play. So I think come the new year, I'm going to sort of mix this up a bit. I think what I'll start doing is I'll do this on a monthly basis, so I'll pick games for a month, probably between 6 to 8, to try and get the achievements on. That way I can pick some bigger games, some games with more to them rather than these simple simple games that I've been playing. And then what I'll probably do is I'll do a weekly update. So I'll pick the games at the start of a month, and I'll do sort of a weekly update per games to show where I'm at and explain where I'm at. Hopefully it gives you guys some ideas for games to play, and hopefully it unlocks some new games that you've not played before. So yeah, those are the 5 games that I've picked for this month, this week even. My aim is to have around 100,000 game score before the end of the year. Given that I'm at 95,000, I would hope that I should be able to hit that 100,000, and then I'll possibly set a goal for 2021. Obviously, with the general actual playing of games that I want to play, and maybe stuff that comes to Game Pass, who knows? Maybe I'll try and double it. Maybe I'll not do it. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it in January. But yeah, that's my roundup for this week and the games that I'll be playing for this week. Sorry, my roundup from last week and the games I'll be playing for this week. All that's left for me to do is thank you for watching. I have been the Ink Nerd, and I will catch you on the next one.